Alright, good morning everybody. Today is, I believe, day 4 of creating original, at least 8-minute long, Bob Proctor style speeches until somebody hires me to speak. As I will state at the beginning of every one of these videos, no AI at all was used in the creation of this content. Everything is the creative product of my mind through my studies every day when I write these. So today I want to talk about forgiveness, and today we're going to relate forgiveness to some of the concepts that I've put forward in the past few days, such as decision and paradigm. Paradigm and forgiveness are very close in one sense. Paradigm is a broader concept, but your paradigm probably has a lot of programs in it as it relates to who you forgive, yourself and others, and how deeply you forgive. So there's probably a lot of parts of our psyche, parts of our soul that don't want to forgive, and they're very deeply seated in our consciousness. And so what I want to do today is iron out those things, get some repetition, and slightly reframe things so that you can come into forgiveness and maybe understand these concepts in a deeper way. So what does it really mean to forgive? Are we really worthy of it? Who are we, and what are we doing constantly judging ourselves in a negative light? Well, you might have a lot of good reasons to judge yourself. In fact, I know you do. Everybody has almost infinite reasons to judge themselves negatively if they look for them. But I'm of the opinion that forgiveness is always a way forward. Forgive can have a slightly different meaning depending upon what you look at. Bob Proctor, in his content, said it means to let go of completely, to abandon. I like that definition, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to put forward this definition that I found online. To cease to feel resentment against on account of wrong committed. To give up claim to requital from or retribution upon an offender. To absolve, to pardon. Those last two are definitely closer to Bob, but I like that first part where he says, to cease to feel resentment against on account of wrong committed. Okay, what is a wrong? What is a sin? You know, what is good? What is evil? We all have done bad things. You know, there's no way you can go through life perfect unless you're Jesus, I guess. I don't know. I mean, even then, I'm not necessarily, I'm not going to have any opinions on that right now. But anyways, forgiveness relates to regret, and we cannot afford to live with regrets. Whatever you have been through in the past is instrumental in making you the person you are today. And what you are is a unique soul that has a body, and this journey, whether it started on this earth or before, is the ultimate culmination of every experience you've ever had. And with the developments in the field of epigenetics, for example, we are starting to learn scientifically even, something that we've already known in many religious circles for thousands of years probably, we're starting to learn the way that memories are stored across generations. My favorite story of this is the chickens that get put in the house for, I think it was 7 generations they did, and then they flew over a fake hawk, nobody did anything. The chickens, then they flew a real one. Chickens who had never seen one in 7 generations, instantly responded to that. It was stored in their genetic memory, their instinct. And so, this is so powerful because we are so good at creating reasons to hate ourselves, to punish ourselves, to place ourselves in totally undesirable vibrations because we feel we deserve it. Well, we could feel that way. That's another paradigm concept there. Our paradigm wants to keep existing, and it's trying to push fear upon you so that it can keep existing. Personally, I have done many things that afterwards I regretted. Who hasn't? First, I will say that in every situation, when I was able to tell myself that this is part of my journey and that better times lie ahead, things went way better. Versus other times where I could not let go despite knowing that it had to happen and it had to be done. Real quick, non sequitur a little bit, if you're looking to get more into the idea of having to go through trials that sometimes are fairly dark and contain within them negative emotion that, as a personal development person, I want to gain control of my mind, but I still need to acknowledge that I'm going to go through periods of flow where I'm in a slightly negative vibration, and I believe that is cleansing to the soul in a lot of ways. And so if you're looking for more information on that, I recommend the book Dark Night of the Soul by St. John of the Cross. And I'm, in general, a big fan of older Christian theological texts. I think they're fairly in line with what I believe. So, you're talking to a man right now who traded stocks in college and went from $15,000 to $130,000 in just a year. Call it a fluke, call it whatever. I never considered myself a great trader or anything. But the point being, I lost all of that money. Some of that money was given to me by family. You know, and I'm not asking you to imagine or feel any sympathy for, I'm grateful for that experience, for how it changed me as an individual. But no matter, I'm sure that countless of you out there have been through hardships that make money look like a complete afterthought. I don't say this to try and portray myself a certain way. I'm saying it because I want you to know how deep in the weeds of regret, sorrow, and depression I have found myself. In a variety of situations, whether it be relationships, whether it be financially, whether it be purpose-driven. I want you to see me for what I was before I went to the gym, before I started creating content, before I started my antique book business, before I studied energy healing, before I realized what I was here to do. I let that destroy me for a certain period of time. All right, like I just stated in the paragraph before, when I told myself that this is part of my journey and that better times lie ahead, it went better. I did not let that happen. I blamed myself. I just could not forgive myself for letting that happen. Over time, I studied and I forgave, and it was a slow process. But we can take quantum leaps of forgiveness, people. We can really dive deep into our own soul and find, things that we never even thought were there in the first place, never even knew we needed to forgive. I eventually strapped down and took my last couple $100 and went to an auction, bought some old books, and the rest is kind of history. I never took that business to crazy heights. I still run it today, but it did provide me over time with an income I could live off of, and that's what I wanted. That's what I needed. I say all of that, everything I've said about myself here, just to put in perspective how much stuff we all go through. What I just described was about 6 months to a year of my life. In terms of the events, the after effects were longer. There are countless other stories I could tell. Now expand that to an entire year, decade, or more. Think about how deep that trauma might go. And think about the ways in which you haven't forgiven yourself. It might even be something small and trivial, but maybe it represents a larger part of your operating paradigm. To expand this even more, imagine all of the trials your ancestors went through. They worked, fought, died, loved, and lost. All of those experiences have been programmed into your genetics and are affecting you today. They have terms now like intergenerational trauma and such. These things are real and don't just go away by default. At least that's what I believe. I'm not going to tell you, what to believe. They have to be faced, and faced in what some would call the dark night of the soul. You see, you are here listening. I don't think it was an accident you found this video. You have the potential to break this cycle of trauma and pain, of revenge, for the slain, and this is done through forgiveness. There might not be a single person in your environment or your history that has had this ability. And that is another reason why so many of us find it hard. Because we constantly encounter large and small disturbances to our inner peace on the part of people who are unaware how their own lack of self-forgiveness impacts others through negative judgments and more. Find peace in this. Accept it. Forgive. You have the opportunity, and you are willing to sacrifice in order to see your soul freed and your purpose inculcated. Now, I don't want you to get down because of this. I want you to rejoice. Rejoice that you have been through so much. Rejoice that you have made it this far. And make the decision you aren't going to waste another day living a life that is not in harmony with the vast amounts of knowledge you have tied up within that is waiting to be expressed. if you don't want to forgive, there's a near infinite quantity of experiences out there for you to judge yourself with. Even the most godly person on earth would be able to find reasons to hate themselves, why they are a piece of crap, and why they don't deserve the blessings of God. Look, your mindset will determine what you get. Excuse me. Your level of understanding of the laws, the principles, and the nuance will determine how able you are to forgive yourself and others when an indiscretion has occurred. The spirit of forgiveness is one that can warm even the darkest places of our being. The spirit of forgiveness is what sets the stage for our evolution as humans, and we must know that dark trials await all that are called to high heights. I think if you think the rest of life will be easy once you're forgiven and have forgave all, as if you do not have to maintain and grow your capacity for forgiveness, think again. In fact, as you grow as a person, you will start to look in places that you never wanted to look again. You might find places that you thought weren't there anymore. The deeper you dig, the greater the pressure, the more intense the trials. If you can maintain the spirit of forgiveness while experiencing and understanding the memory more deeply, then you are sure to make a diamond out of that pressure. And another, and a larger one, and so on. Hope you enjoyed. Talk to you all tomorrow. Ryan Sweeney out.